Hi, welcome back to HATV. I'm Ann Malkmus.
And I'm Paul Malkmus.
Today we have a special treat that people usually like on their Saturday mornings, and that would be, we call them buckwheat flapjacks.
That's right. And buckwheat flapjacks are really good. Buckwheat is not actually part of the wheat family. It's really part of the rhubarb family, believe it or not.
Hard to believe.
I'm still scratching my head on that one, but that's what I'm told is true. Now, this recipe comes from our gluten-free resolutions ebook that's out there on hacres.com. It's one of many recipes in the book, and it's really focused on gluten-free for somebody who may be gluten intolerant.
Hard to believe, but even on the Hallelujah diet, you can have pancakes.
And they're yummy pancakes too. They're really good. Now, buckwheat pancakes, they can be really heavy, and so we have to take a little bit special care to not mix them too much and to not watch them burn.
Now, we have some interesting ingredients to make these pancakes, and the way we'll start is we'll start with what we call a binder. And in the binder, what we're going to do is we're going to take some regular flax seeds, but what we want to do with them is we want to grind them. When you grind flax seeds especially fresh, then you actually will get the most omega-3s out of them, as opposed to doing that before, sooner. And then if they sit for too long, there's a chance that they could become rancid.
Now, we did that in our personal blender, which is the blender that we really like. We use it to make our smoothies, our barley macs, but you can also use it to grind up seeds and nuts.
And so what we're doing is we're taking 2 tablespoons of this ground flaxseed, adding it to water, and we're going to let that sit for about 3 minutes so that it will bind. 2 tablespoons plus about a teaspoon, which in my case is about that much.
That was accurate.
I thought you'd like that. Okay. Let me do a quick stirring on that. Get that in there. Let that sit for just a few moments. Okay.
That seems to work.
3 minutes, and this will be a great way for the pancakes to bind together. All right?
So while that's binding, shall we put the other ingredients together?
Yeah, let's start with the dry ingredients.
Okay.
And what we have here is we have a half a cup of the buckwheat flour. And the best way to use buckwheat flour is to use it with another flour, because otherwise it's quite heavy on its own. So we're going to use cornmeal.
All right.
And this would be a half a cup of cornmeal. Just add them together. And 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Also about a half a teaspoon of our Celtic sea salt.
And we'll go ahead and mix those together, stir them up a little bit. And while I'm doing this, what are you doing?
I'm mashing a banana.
Oh, you're mashing a banana. That looks like fun, actually.
I know, I like it. It reminds me of the young kids. When my kids were young, I used to mash a lot of bananas. It was kind of fun. And I'm doing this for flavor, but it's also a good binder. And so what we're doing is trying not to let the bananas jump out of our plate.
Well, they're still alive. They have living enzymes.
They are living,
jump around.
And they do jump on me, don't they? And so we mash them up to equal to about 2 tablespoons of banana. Mashed banana.
And that adds that sweetener, makes it really nice.
Yeah, what a neat way to add a sweetened flavor to it without refined.
Without the sugar,
That's
refined
right.
sugars and all of that.
Okay.
All right.
So we have that.
Shall we go ahead and add our water?
I think so.
We have what, 1 cup of water?
1 cup of water.
There we go. And we'll add our flax. Now that was
This was our
2 tablespoons?
2 tablespoons and 1 teaspoon of ground flax sitting in water so it could become a little bit more to bind.
All right. And shall we add our banana there too?
I think so. There we go. Add a little bit more sweetener to it. Very good.
Stir all this together.
Doesn't that look fun?
It does.
I know we love pancakes. Who doesn't love pancakes? Everybody loves pancakes.
Try not to over stir it there.
They do say that if you do stir too much with buckwheat, it will make that pancake more heavy. So you want to be careful when you stir it. That's a good point.
That hopefully is about enough. And then we'll go ahead and check our skillet to make sure it's hot. What did I do, right? I have a little thing of water here that I dip my fingers in, and it made a lot of noise.
I think you just enjoy doing that.
You know, there was water here. It had to be used.
Had to play with it.
Now we're going to use this grapeseed spray oil to make it non-stick. And so we're going to be fairly liberal with this because that will stick otherwise.
No calories in there anyway, right?
No, just some fat. And we'll talk about that in another segment. And then we'll go ahead and pour these in here. Now this recipe makes what, about
8 to 9 3 to 4 inch size pancakes.
Okay, so that one's a little bigger than a 3 to 4 inch.
They're touching.
But it'll work still.
They're an interesting color. They're a deep brown color, which is the buckwheat coming out.
And now these won't bubble quite the same way as other pancakes would, so you have to pay a little more attention to make sure they don't burn.
Although it's interesting because one of the 3 actually is bubbling quite a bit. Oh, pancakes, how fun.
I know, it's wonderful to have pancakes on the How You diet.
It
I mean,
is.
it's really, really wonderful. All right, so we've gone through and flipped them, and it looks like they're nice and done now. We'll
They're
just go
nice
ahead
and done.
There we go.
Now you have lots of options with these. You can add fresh fruit, whether it's blueberries or strawberries. You can even add a little bit of Udo's oil over them because the texture of buckwheat and the flavor is quite a bit different than your normal pancakes. Or you can add maple syrup and of course honey. Lots of different options for these.
So it really is flavorful and has a wonderful look to it as well.
It's got a great smell too, but pancakes always have.
I know.
So you can
Pancakes are
pour some
great.
syrup over that or something else.
And we only use good maple syrup, real stuff, not the...
Not Aunt Jemima. None of the other
Not that
ones.
brand in the store that our aunt used to use.
That's right.
That's right. Hey, we hope you enjoy buckwheat pancakes, and this is AM and PM on HATV. We'll see you next time.